So I originally wasn't going to cover this, but I've had a lot of different comments asking me if I've heard the, I guess you'd say leaks, the updated leaks of WB Games Montreal's Batman Arkham Game, Batman Arkham Legacy, people are calling it, being announced at the Game Awards next month, I believe on December 12th. And the answer is yes, I have. I want to break this down really quick just because you guys want me to talk about it. And I didn't know if I should because I had mentioned the Game Awards a while back. I think it was about a month ago, I suppose, where I said that that's where I think they could still announce it this year if they were going to, but I obviously had no insider information, so I wasn't sure. I just thought, hey, if they're going to announce it still this year, they haven't yet, that's pretty much the last bastion of hope for it, unless they just randomly drop it. And just a couple of days ago, actually, I suppose, 2 days ago when I'm recording this, it'll be 3 when it goes up, a YouTuber who covers a lot of Batman Arkham stuff, his name is SLCMOF, I think he pronounces it as SLCMOF. I don't watch him a lot, but I've watched a couple of live stream type things that he did, like I watched this one, it's about an hour and a half long, it is pretty long, but if you ever want the gist of it without just watching me explain it, because I think this guy does deserve views. Like, he's doing good work, he's talking about interesting things, and I think it's kind of like, I don't want to take away from that by talking about what he did. So I want to put the link to his live stream down below. But he actually, on November 27th, was talking about how he had not insider information, but information from a prominent video game news journalist named Gabe in Europe, who had actually previously leaked to him the pictures of the canceled Damian Wayne Batman Arkham game years before those were actually made public and shown off. And he has video proof on his channel, way back of talking about those sort of and breaking them down way before they were actually announced. So that is a legitimate thing. Like, he had that information ahead of time. SLCMOF had that information ahead of time because of this games journalist Gabe. So I think there is credibility to that. If he is saying, hey, Gabe is telling me that this is more than likely going to be announced at the Game Awards, there's some credibility to that, a bit more than a rumor. I'm not saying it's 100% thing, but I think more and more we are seeing industry insiders start to point towards this happening and point towards this being a thing, especially at the Game Awards. We have SLCMOF and his source Gabe, and then even going back, a little further here, obviously you're going to hear me probably click in the background over whatever footage we have going, but back on October 21st, we had Sabi, and I'm so bad with names, so I'm so sorry for butchering everybody's name, guys. Names are my kryptonite, okay? But Sabi on Twitter, who is a prominent games leaker, or a games journalist leaker / they know stuff inside, but they're not someone violating NDAs, right? I want to make that perfectly clear, that I think a lot of times people hear leaker and they think, oh, this is someone in the company who's like breaking NDAs and like could get sued. And it's like, you got to be careful when you're talking about this stuff that companies don't come after you, and you can even see Sabi's a little worried about that. But this is a games journalist, and Sabi said Arkham Legacy ? With some, thirsty eyes, and saying the stuff about the playable family seems to be legit. And, later on, 2:26 p.m. on October 22nd, she actually said, I suppose I should go to this one first. 1:25 p.m. October 22nd, she said, I should note the title of Arkham Legacy could change. The info is from a bit ago, but the topic of the game, the family and whatnot, are obviously the important element. Not sure when the reveal is. TGAs are plausible, otherwise could be anytime next year. Not gonna say anything else because WB can be kind of scary. And then Sabi went on to say, details on Arkham Legacy, it features the Court of Owls and has all of the Bat family playable. Don't know too much in regards to gameplay or platforms. Figured that before I stop with this game for now, I'd clarify what I knew specifically. So, and I keep calling Sabi a she, and I suppose I should clarify, when I say Sabi is a she, I don't actually know that. I've been trying to find out more information about Sabi or Sabi, depending on how you pronounce this person's name. All I really know about this person is that they have been very credible with leaks in the past. Again, I'm someone who needs to get better at following the game's journalism side of things. I don't know who everyone is. I'm a little bit more of an isolationist when it comes to stuff like this, so, you know, forgive me on that, but I think the heart of the matter is what is actually important here, because we saw Sabi actually pointing to this being at the Game Awards, and even a response under that from Batman Arkham Videos, who has had a lot of, you know, sources in the past and known a lot before other people, responded to a Twitter thread about this saying, "I've known about this for a month now, but I've been asked not to tell anyone. It's still a rumor though." And so, tying back to what SLCMOF said in his whole live stream too, but even he said that his insider Gabe is not entirely sure, like 100%, if it will be at the Game Awards or not. He's pretty sure, but he hasn't talked to anyone at the Game Awards who has said, yes, this is on the docket, 100%. Here, let me show you a picture. So because of that, it sort of seems like this is a pretty sure thing that this is going to happen at the Game Awards, but it still could not happen there. He even points out that because of things like leaks, you could always see something like a trailer move. There have been times where video game or movie trailers were going to be shown and they get pulled last minute. So we don't really know. I think that it will be there. I could actually see it though being announced later on in the month or even early next year in not a public venue. But I think this would be the easiest way to get a bunch of eyes on it. But as we get further down the road in terms of video game companies having the ability to contact their fans and consumers more easily, you start to see a lot more things like, you know, Sony is skipping E3 and stuff like that, where these companies can just announce what they want whenever they want, and it doesn't have to be at a specific venue or date. It is starting to look, though, a lot more likely like the Game Awards is where we're going to see this. And so I just wanted to answer that question about where all this came from. And obviously, the name Arkham Legacy was something that had been floating around for a while. What do I think about the name is another question I've been asked, and I'm not sure. Everybody's been still calling it Arkham Legacy. I really would not be surprised if that's not the official name and that was a working title. I don't want to... It's weird, because it's like, to me, it sounds a little bit like a fan name to a game. That's why I'm sort of confused if Arkham Legacy will be the real name to this game. But I think the heart of all these rumors and leaks all sort of being together and not conflicting is what matters the most. And I also do want to clarify that if the name ends up not being Arkham Legacy, because I am personally like 99.9% sure a game is being worked on, if the name of that changes, I'll definitely be going back and changing the titles of some of my videos, because it's weird. Like, I don't want to be misleading with them, but I also don't want them to get buried, right? Like, if the name turns out to be Batman Arkham Basketball Court of Owls, no one's going to be searching for Arkham Legacy anymore, and that's kind of the bad position you end up in as a content creator, right? Is, do I go back and change that title so people can still find this video or not? So if we get down the road and that name changed and you see some of the names of previous videos change just from Arkham Legacy to Arkham Batman Court, or Arkham Basketball Court game, Space Jam versus the Court of Owls, that's going to be the reason for why that change happens on this channel. So I just wanted to point that out to you. Thank you, everybody, for bringing this to my attention. Again, I wasn't sure if I wanted to talk about it or not, just because I hadn't really dug deep into how confirmed it was, but I really think SLCMOF is reporting on something that he believes to be true. I think that his source, Gabe, is a trustworthy source, personally. I don't know either of them personally, but just from seeing the stuff SLCMOF has done in the past, he very much cares about this community. He very much cares about what he's doing. And I don't think he would just be spreading something to spread something at all. I think a lot of people are way too emotionally invested in this topic, as I talked about a few days ago, in terms of like just getting angry like the further out we get with no actual confirmation. But I don't think that should be taken out on someone like SLCMOF or Gabe, because I don't want to send any negativity or issues their way at all with this whole thing. I just thought it was important to talk about the news from it, and I hope you enjoy it. Please let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. Do you think this will be a legitimate thing? Do you think that Arkham Court is going to be the name, like some previous rumors? Do you think it will be Batman Arkham Legacy? Do you think there will be a different name here? And what do you think about the time period? I would also love if you checked out at least, I'm just saying at least, the first 20 minutes of SLCMOF's live stream and let me know what you think about that, because I think some of the hardest hitting, big things are in that first 20-25 minutes. A lot of information is dropped and a lot of credibility is established that I think you can get better from SLCMOF's channel than you can get from me recapping it. So let me know what you think about that, or anything else you're thinking, content you'd like to see. I am still working on the skins and costumes I'd like to see in Arkham Legacy. Don't worry, that is still coming. I've just had a lot of things come up in the meantime. Still working on the 5 things right and wrong for different games. I believe Spider-Man will be the next one. I'm currently replaying it. So when that drops, I'd love it if you'd give it a little check out. One final thing, Superman video I put up yesterday. I think I did a super good job, and an interesting topic for me to talk about. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I really enjoyed it. So check that out if you haven't seen it. Love all of you. Appreciate you to death. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in the next one. Have a fantastic day. That's it. I don't have a good segue out of this one.